Okay, so today the project is installing the Pannier system on that motorcycle right there. So we got the Bumot Pannier system, the soft Pannier system, 35 liter. It's a 35 liter and a 31 liter size bags. The 31 liter, of course, going onto the side with the exhaust system, so that's going to be a little bit smaller, and then the 35 goes on the other side. So that's what we're going to be installing. I also have the bags, which are right there, right there. That's the Bumot bags. I've got a little video where I kind of talk about them a little bit. They seem to be constructed very well, nice bags, so I think they're going to work out just fine. I just need it on this bike, not necessarily to tour or anything like that, but just to have a place to store stuff. For example, if I'm going to go somewhere, a Starbucks or something, I want to take my laptop, maybe my GoPro. I want to have a place where I can kind of stash things up without feeling like I have to take a backpack. So I'm going to install those today, and it should be pretty simple. I think you remove the seat, take a couple of bolts off, and then you kind of get on with it. So the parts we have right now that we're going to need to install, or at least the hardware, is going to be 2 washers of this size and thickness, and then 2 slightly smaller ones, aluminum. All right, so that's that and that. And then there's these powder coated ones, 2 of those as well. And then we'll have some 50mm M8 bolts, and then some 40mm ones, I believe they are, washers to go along with that. And then these smaller bolts here, and 2 of those 4 washers, and some nylock nuts to go with that. But that's the total kit that's needed to install this. So we're gonna get on this and get the seat removed and get inside and see what we can do. So we're gonna need a key. So I gotta go inside and get the key for that. All right, so what do we have here? So we've got a Torx 40 T40 wrench or socket, and we're just gonna remove these. And these ones in the front. So I just grab this power tool right here. It'll make things go a little bit faster. Okay, these are the ones in the front. They're a little bit longer, so the front of the motorcycle. 2 shorter ones for the back. And now we have to remove the passenger pegs. So these have to come off. And I feel like I will need my wrench first, just to break it. Okay, loosen the other side. Okay, this seems loose enough. Power tool the rest of it. off to the side. And then at this point, we're going to need our washers. All right, our washers. So the big ones, the slightly thicker ones, will go to the front. You can see right here, these are the thicker ones, so that's going to go in the front right there. And on the other side. And then the thinner ones go in the back. Okay. Grab our bolts, the 50s and the 40s, and let's see, and some washers. So the washers are concave, so I put the concave side towards the head of the bolt, and the 50s are going to go into the front, like so. And then these ones will go, the 40s are going to go into the back. Like so. And then at this point, we start putting the racks on. All right, so here's our rack. So it's going to sit, is this the right one? So this is the one that goes in the back, right? Or on the exhaust. This is the one that goes on the exhaust side. So that's going to sit like so. And this is why we removed that. This is the reason why we removed the peg. So that's going to go right there. All right. So just have to grab this, put it over there. Leave the washer in there and then put that over that. And that's how that attaches. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. That's this rack. Okay. So what I try to do here is just attach them. Everything is still loose. It's not all the way, just more like hand tight until I get everything secured, and then I can go back in and start putting everything together. Okay. So now I'm going to assume that the spacer, one of those powder coated spacers, the black one, is going to go on the bottom side of this foot peg, because I think just because you now have this on the outside, it's going to make this stick out a little bit more. So to offset that, I think this has to go down here. So we're going to put this down here like so and reassemble that. And we're just using the factory bolts that came out of this here, so nothing special there. Again here, not too tight, just so this stays a little bit loose in case you need to move it around a little bit. And I never use power tools when I'm tightening a lot of these kinds of things, unless I'm like 100% sure, just in case I strip a thread. It's much easier to feel what you're doing when you go manual, so I'm always kind of just manually doing that. So especially when it comes time to tightening it. All right, so everything is still loose. Move on to the other side and put that peg back up on there. Okay, back to the T40 here to tighten these. leave it nice and loose. And then grab the last bolts, which is these two small ones. And that's going to attach the back piece, like so. And that goes on the outside over here, and on the outside over there. So one washer at the bottom, one on the other end. One day I'll probably replace these with black ones. I wish they were black, because silver bolts on a black rack is just kind of not cool. I'm not sure what size these bits are, but so I'll need that size. Yeah, it doesn't say, sorry. You'll need a 10mm wrench here, and whatever size this little guy is. I'm not going all the way tight yet. All right, that looks fine. All right. I'm going to do the top first, and then come around and tighten the rest of these. I was trying to figure out why this is getting stuck. These are not Torx, these are actually hex bolts. So I'm going to have to change this to a hex. And actually that's the reason why I had this other tool, but I think this is a T40, so it's some kind of 40mm head. So put that on there. No. All right. Feel like that's sturdy. It doesn't have to be crazy tight. Just about, it feels about as tight as it was when I loosened them. So you have to be careful when changing from something with more leverage to something with less leverage, I guess, because the tightness is going to feel different. You're going to feel tighter with this than you would feel with this. So I just had to try to kind of compensate for that. Now I'll just tighten these the rest of the way. Okay, so I guess I kind of overdid it a little bit, so I'll have to get... All right, so I'm back from the store. They didn't have anything, they didn't have any black nuts to go with these black bolts, or at least darker. It's like almost a gray, but it's darker than a silver bolt. So we're gonna use these, and what I'll do is I'll put the nut in on the inside, and hopefully that still disguises it a little bit better. Yeah, it's all right. I'll still have to work on getting this replaced, because you can see that washer is still silver anyways, but it's better than, I guess, having a silver bolt on there. So So what tools did I use? I've got this 10mm wrench, and I've got this smaller one. I don't know if you necessarily need that, just depending on the tool sizes you have. And then I have this bigger one, a T40 socket, and you will also need similarly sized hex bolt or hex. Although this will work, but you can see I did a little bit of a number on it. It's all jacked up now. But so these are the tools that I used to get this job done. The job itself, pretty easy, simple, nothing to it. I think if I wasn't recording, this would have gone a whole lot faster. I'd say maybe all of 10 minutes to get this done. So the idea is, in summary, you want to take these bolts off, 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you get those removed, you want to take off your pegs right here, and that's just 2 bolts. You can actually even just take out one and then swing it out of the way, but you take these 2 bolts out, those 4 at the top, the 2 on the other side for the pegs, the passenger pegs, and then once all that's removed, you put this on some washers, the longer bolts at the bottom, the 50mm, the 40mm on the back, and then you just kind of assemble it all together, and that's about it. So simple and straightforward. Okay, to attach the bags, looks pretty simple and straightforward. So this one that's curved obviously goes on the exhaust side. So clip it down in the bottom, and then make sure this flap is up. So you can see this kind of comes down, up and down like so. So you want to make sure that it's all the way up, and you would attach that on there, like so, and then bring it down, and that locks it in place right there. For the other side, get this all wrapped up, clip, clip, and then same deal, clip it down in the bottom like so, and then once that's done, unlock this if you have to, and that's still locked. All right, so we got this installed, and these seem very high quality, but while I was installing that, some way, somehow, something fell out of this, and I think it's this little piece. I'm going to turn the light on here. But I think that this piece fell out of it, and this piece here, I believe, is what actually engages the locking mechanism. So when I was playing with the key to try to figure out what happened, I pulled the key out, or the whole locking mechanism, which is what you see right here. So that just kind of popped out. Unfortunately, when that popped out, I pulled the key out, and when I did that, all the little pieces just kind of fell out of it. You can see, like, that's a little piece right here. There's another one over here. There's another one over there. So they all just kind of fell out of it. So now this cylinder right here is completely useless. So I'm going to have to kind of write them and get another one. Fortunately, I think this will still work. I won't be able to lock it, so that's not cool, because I feel like you want to lock it even if you are just traveling, not just for theft, but just to make sure that it's secure in here, because if it was to get unlocked, something like that would happen. So I'm going to need to try to get that fixed before I ride too much on it. So that just clips in there, and that attaches like that, and that pulls down. So yeah, I definitely need to get some kind of locking system. So that little tab I was just showing you guys on the ground, which is this guy right here, is what would come out of this hole right here. Let's see, it would come through like that, and that's how the locking mechanism would work. And now I've dropped that in there, and yeah, see, So this just wants to fall every single time you don't have it locked, which is kind of not cool. I wish it would kind of stay on there like that. But it's sturdy enough, but like I'm saying, you know, if you were riding and for some reason you hooked something onto this, that would fall off, all right? So this side here, let's look at the side that's actually working. So on this side, when we lock it, you're watching this area right here. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Let's try to move this camera in here. Okay. So you can see, it's kind of out of focus, but you can see that little tab kind of flips around when you turn the key. And that is the locking mechanism. So that's how you actually, right there, that's how you, or right here in the top. So that's how the locking mechanism operates. And I'm not a big fan of the locking mechanism for something that seems like it's so well constructed. I feel like the locking mechanism is pretty cheap, and so are the keys themselves. So that is my impressions of the locking mechanism. I wish that they would have done something different with that, or a different key. This is just your run-off-the-mill, real cheap key, and the locking mechanism itself is pretty cheap, and that explains why this got this got damaged before we even got anywhere. I mean, it's supposed to be more durable than that. If you're going to go on adventures with this motorcycle, I mean, that should not happen while you're setting it up. So I'll write them, or I'm going to call them, send them an email. I'm sure they'll do the right thing and get this replaced. But so far, so they look good at least, and I look forward to riding with them on and seeing how they work out. Let me turn the light on brighter. So that's okay. So now I got a little bit of light. You can see the reflective material right there and right there. That's cool. And from the back, that's what it kind of looks like. This one is a little folded because there's nothing in it. These expand a little bit, so you can expand them. Like for example, this is now expanded, and now you can see that reflective material right there. And I like it, actually. It actually looks a whole lot better from the back with the rack system on there. I wasn't sure how it was going to look after I put the rack system on there, but it looked a little bit narrow from the back. Now it seems like it looks a little bit better. It matches a little bit better now with the front. So yeah, so that's the installation, guys. Not too difficult at all. You should be able to knock it out in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes if you're not recording, 30 minutes if you're messing around and recording, and that kind of stuff is what it took me. So not difficult at all. I don't have a beard scale or whatever else now to tell you how easy it was, but I think pretty basic stuff, and you can get it on there. I like it so far. Only problem I have is with that lock that I talked about, but the bags themselves look like they're real high quality, and the rack is high quality. Everything is good there. So we'll see how it holds up. Until then, peace.